So in the previous video, I showed you guys how to do the initial setup for a performance, and also showed you how to add the different patches and how to set the patches to be on so that they can all be played together. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to go about um, editing where the different patches, like the layout on your entire keyboard, such that you can have the separation of, for example, if you want to have a bass playing in your performance, you have the bass playing in the lower part, and maybe have the piano and strings playing in the upper part. And with that, you can change, and I'll show you how to change things as you wish to make it even more like different, or however you want it. So I'm going to continue from where I left off, where we have the bass, the piano, and the strings all playing together. So how we go about changing this? So if you look at your top left section of the keyboard, you have your performance edits. And if you haven't watched my previous video, I do suggest you go and watch it so that you're not lost and understand what it is that we're looking at. So let's just go back, and I'll exit from here. What you should be seeing is an init performance. If you click exit until you just see on the top screen here, we're going to start at where you're just seeing init performance, and you're at part 1, PF001. If you're not seeing part 1, maybe you're seeing part 2 or part 3, what you need to do is just click on the cursor button. If you click just keep tapping left on the cursor button, and eventually you'll see it hovering over the 016. Then click right once, and it will hover over the part 1 or part 2, part 3, and then just click the value buttons over here. Click left, then you eventually be at part 1. If you click right, you go to part 2, part 3, whatever. So I want you to click left on the values when you're hovering over, when the part 1 is in bold, so that you are back at part 1. So now that we are here, what we're going to do is we're going to do this, right? So what did I say we want to do? We want to have the bass playing at only the left part here. And to know what that means, we need to understand the actual notes on the keyboard, which I'm not going to go into, but the main things you need to understand is, I think we're looking at, from the perspective of this keyboard, this is C, and it's given the annotation of C1. And then over here it's C2, over here it's C3, oh, you can't see, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and C6. And that's the only thing which I'm going to say, because I don't want to go into much more complex stuff than that, but then that's just the important information you need to know to understand what I'm doing. So click on menu. When you click on menu, you should either see system or performance edit. If you're on system, on the cursors, you're going to click right, then you'll be on performance edit. When you're on performance edit, if you start on performance edit, just hit enter, right? Now in the performance edit, the first thing you should see there is the patch number. If you don't see the patch number on the cursor, just flick it all the way to the left until you get the patch number. And since we're on part 1, it should show you PF001. Now what we want to do is change our parts. So on the shift, we're going to click shift, and then the cursor button right, till we're on part 3, where we have the bass now. So now we're at the bass. What I want you to do now is we're going to use our cursor, use the right button on the cursor until we get to, I think it's the range. So we're starting on the patch number. You're going to click right, 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. So now we at the range lower. And what range lower means is that for this patch, what is the lowest notes that should be played, right? So it's currently sitting at C minus 1. I don't know why. But it's fine, we'll leave it at C minus 1. Seems like that's the lowest it can be, C minus 1. but this is supposed to be C1, but I'm just going to figure out what it means there. But what I do want you to do is I want you to go to range higher. So on the cursors, we're going to go right, and now you should see range upper. All right, and in range upper, okay, sorry. So let me just step back a bit. I want to make this the best. I want to make it easier for you guys to understand what I'm doing, and just follow me because I'm doing something on the fly now. Follow me. I'm gonna click shift with me, and then click the cursor button left once. Then now that you're on part 2, click the cursor, release the shift button. Then click the cursor button 1, 2 times, and then the keyboard, you should be on the keyboard switch. Switch the keyboard switch off for part 2. Then now click shift and cursor left. You should be on part 1 of the keyboard switch, and then click the value button to switch it off. So left to switch it off. Then we're going to go back. So hold shift again, click right. We should be back on part 3. Then now, the reason why I did that is so that we only have the bass playing now. So when I'm actually doing certain things, you'll be able to hear that it will no longer be playing anymore, right? So now we're back onto part 3, and we're going to click the cursor, no shift, click the cursor button right 2 times, 1, 2, and we're in range upper again. And as you can see, the range upper is G9. So I am pretty certain that this is C1. So we can just test that right now, but it is C1, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the highest note on the Roland XPS 10 should be C6. So what I want you to do is, you can see the range up as a G9. I want you to take it all the way down to C6. C6. Okay. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, never mind. I think this is C2. So this is C2, and the highest note is C7. Okay, so if you take it up to C7, you'll see that the bass is playing, right? But now if you take it down, you should take the range upper down to, let's say like a C, so no longer at a C7, but a B6. Then try to play the highest C note. Nothing's playing, but play the B, something's playing. And what we did there is we changed the range so that it's not audible over there. So now, what I want you guys to set the range of the bass to is to C4. So we're going to go all the way down to C4. And what this means is, this note over here, C4, it's going to play. But try to play the C sharp, nothing plays. And what this means now is that we have removed the upper part from playing the bass. So now the bass will be played here. Right. So now we've done the bass, and let's go ahead and do the same thing for the strings. And okay, no. Let's just test the theory here. So for the bass now, click the cursor left, and you should be at range lower. And range lower is currently set to -1. Okay, I think I understand why they do what they do. But anyways, let's change it to -1. Let's change it to C2. So you're going to increase it with the value button up until it's C2. Alright, so it's at C2. So we can hear it. So now I'm going to go up one more time to C sharp 2. Then we shouldn't be able to hear C. Alright. So this note here is C2. So the range lower should be C2. The range higher should be that. But I have a concern. I think that if you start changing the transpose, it might make this not work. But I will test that out, and if it does happen, we'll probably just need to increase the buffer a bit for that. But I've been playing this for a while now, and I haven't come into this issue. But so let's not worry about that. So currently, we have our bass in the left part. Now let's work on the right part now. So let's change this now. We had range lower, currently on part 3. I want you to hold the shift button and then click the cursor left. Now we should be on part 2, which is strings, right? Go ahead and click the cursor left to enable the keyboard switch again. So enable the keyboard switch, then click the cursor right again to go back to range lower. And you should see that the range lower is set to C4. What does that mean? This is C2. Sorry, no, it says C-1, not C4. My eyes are seeing. It's C-1. So what I want you to do is change the range lower on the strings to be C4. No, sorry, C#4, because I don't want the C's to overlap. So we're going to go ahead and increase that all the way until we are at C#4. So now the bass is playing the bass part, then the very next note is a C#, right? So that because we're doing the upper now, we can go and change the range of the higher, of the range higher, range upper to be C7, but we'll just leave it as is on G9. And we're just going to go now, staying on the range lower, click shift, cursor right, and then you see now for part 1, sorry, cursor left, cursor right is go to part 3. Click cursor left to go to part 1, and now for part 1, this switches the piano. We're going to do the same thing, click the cursor left without clicking the shift, keyboard switch on, click cursor right to go back to range lower, and now we're going to increase the value all the way till we are at C#4. So now it's on C#4. Let's hear how it sounds. So let me just check one thing here. So the key, so now let's just go ahead. We have everything set up already, so let's just go ahead and click the exit button until we back seeing that in it perform part 1, right? So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and try decrease the octave. And since we know that the lowest note is a C#4 over here, if I drop the octave and we can't hear this note because it'll be here, then I know we'll have a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and change the cursor, click it right so it's showing the part, and on the part I'm going to, because now since I'm at part, it's showing part 1, whatever I do to change the octave is going to change it just for this part here, nothing else. So I'm going to click the octave button, so there's an octave down and up. I'm going to click down, and as you can see, it has decreased the octave but hasn't actually stopped playing, so which is cool. Just confirms what I was saying. So then now we're going to do the same thing for, let's do the same thing for part 2. So now we're going to change the value over here while it's on part to part 2 now, and then click the octave button lower. So literally now we have everything as we want it to be, right? So the next part I'm going to show you guys is how to save, and I'm going to do it in the next video. I think that that should be enough for this video. Till next time, guys, stay blessed.